Today could be the turning point in Foxborough. Point-time mistake opened an unexpected window on the market. A quiet reinforcement with local DNA shook up the line's depth. A bold draft pick is demanding space in the game plan, and a major defensive investment started to justify every penny. There's a hot battle for snaps, adjustments to protect our rookie quarterback, and direct impact on short fields. Ready for tension, surprises, and no-filter analysis right now? You won't believe what we've got today. So sit down, drop a like, and let's dive straight into the news. It started with a primetime error that became a symbol of something bigger: discipline, accountability, and doors opening for teams that pay attention. While a lot of people only saw the scoreboard, a rival's coaching staff pushed a button that changes the AFC chessboard, and an explosive name with video game acceleration popped onto the right radar in Foxborough. We want short fields, we want to protect our rookie quarterback, and we want someone who can flip a game's momentum with a single burst. Decision. When that profile hits the market after a hard decision, you don't ask if it's worth trying, you ask how to bring him in yesterday. The Jets released returner/WR Xavier Gipson a day after the fumble that flipped the game against the Steelers. Impact: a clear message from new head coach Aaron Glenn about accountability and ball security. Matter of fact, right after, they signed WR/KR Isaiah Williams off the Bengals practice squad to take over return duties. For New England, that matters because Gipson's archetype, open field threat, sharp cuts, and acceleration on jet motions, fits exactly what we're chasing to steal hidden yards, protect starters on returns, and give Drake May a rhythm valve when things tighten up. Quick context on our side: Jalen Polk underwent shoulder surgery and landed on injured reserve with his season likely over, opening a gap in the rotation and especially in return responsibilities without exposing starters unnecessarily. Javon Baker, cut at the 53-man deadline, chose the Eagles practice squad, which squeezed depth even further. Diagram. Today the top line reads Stephon Diggs, Mac Hollins, and Demario Douglas, but we're missing that specific piece that steals yards, shortens the field, and reduces third down variance. The plan is to protect May with high probability throws and lateral threats that pull linebackers out of the box. Why Gipson? Because he's exactly the kind of one-year prove-it bet that can pay off fast. He entered the league in 2023 as an undrafted free agent and built a reputation as an open-field menace. The inconsistency as a receiver is real, but the primary function is crystal clear: lower starter exposure on returns and ignite the offense with horizontals, pre-snap motion, and pace. If visualize, in New England, he'd be a trigger for the playbook: orbit motion to displace the nickel, jet fakes to freeze the backside, and screens that turn 5-yard passes into 15-yard runs. And there's more: the indirect effect. With a reliable returner, we raise the odds of starting drives past the 30, cut down on panic penalties from improvised returns, and free up Douglas for offensive packages without overload. That syncs with Mike Vrabel's philosophy: win on the margins, in repeatable details. Gipson helps the offense, helps the defense, longer fields for opponents, and helps the locker room by setting clear roles. It's a low-cost move that can produce wins, and that wasn't even the most surprising part of the day. Sometimes destiny brings back a piece that seemed discarded. Amid the roster whirlwind, the front office looked inward and brought back a name who knows the building, understands the weight of the uniform, and has deep roots in the region. That was no accident. Protecting Drake May has become priority number one, and when the coaching staff talks about consistency up front, every detail matters. Enter the return of Jack Connley to the practice squad, a move that seems simple but could have immediate ripple effects. Connley is one of those stories that tugs at fans' emotions. A New England native and Boston College product, he knows exactly what it means to wear navy and silver. He was cut in August when the team trimmed the roster, but he never left the radar. His versatility: he worked at tackle in the preseason, despite most of his college snaps coming at guard, stood out from day one. For a team battling injuries and inconsistency on the line, that flexibility is gold, and he's no random prospect. All ACC honorable mention, a strong pro day, and the kind of measurables that keep coaches curious. Asked about the chance to play for the Patriots, Connley didn't hide his emotion. He spoke about a dream come true, his family's tradition of following the team, and the pride in representing his region. That might sound like fluff, but in a locker room it matters. Players with emotional ties tend to embrace the culture more intensely, and for Mike Vrabel and Doug Marrone, that's fundamental. They want guys who don't just execute, but buy into the discipline and resilience that underpin the project. Strategically, the impact is clear: stability for May. The rookie needs solid protection, and the staff doesn't want to take unnecessary risks. By reinforcing depth with someone who already knows the system, the team gains immediate insurance. If injuries hit or a starter's performance dips, Connley is ready to step in. This signals the front office won't repeat recent mistakes. When the offensive line fell apart in crucial moments and left quarterbacks under siege, fan reactions didn't take long. Some celebrated the return of a hometown product. Others questioned whether that alone solves the line's problems. That's the point. Nobody's calling Connley a definitive fix. He's a rotation piece, extra security, someone who keeps the engine running while bigger adjustments are made. In today's context, that can be the difference between May having time to drop a 40-yard dime or being swallowed by a blitz before his first read. And if you think that was the most strategic play of the week, wait until you see what came next. Sometimes the weight of a draft decision hits hardest when the field exposes your soft spots. The Patriots offense carried real buzz with the arrival of Trevian Henderson, the explosive Ohio State running back taken in the second round. Bold, since the position didn't look like an early round priority at the time, but his talent screamed through camp. Every burst drew attention. Every catch in space hinted at what could be the newest weapon in Foxborough. Then Sunday against the Raiders painted an uncomfortable picture. The run game simply didn't exist. Ramondre Stevenson, already coming off a disappointing year with more fumbles than touchdowns, felt the full weight of criticism. 7 carries, 15 yards, 2.1 per attempt. For a team that preaches balance, that's a disaster. The most frustrating part, the explosive rookie Henderson was basically forgotten. After lighting up the summer, he looked ready to seize the rotation, but in real action he was marginalized. The staff, led by Josh McDaniels, essentially abandoned the run in the second half. Only 2 called runs after halftime. It was as if the offense waved the white flag, leaning entirely on May's arm, telegraphing a lack of faith in the line, and especially in the veteran Stevenson. The fan base didn't hold back, social feeds lit up. How do you leave that kind of talent on the bench? If you were sticking with Stevenson, why draft Henderson that high? And even McDaniels is repeating old mistakes. It's not just venting, it's the sense that the front office invested heavily in a difference maker who still hasn't been given the stage to prove it. That reopens an old wound, clinging to names that have lost their edge instead of betting on someone who can deliver immediate impact. Strategically, the dilemma is crystal clear. If Henderson is truly integrated into the game plan, you gain lateral speed, check down juice, and the ability to force a defensive posture change. Defenses will have to honor outside zone and screens that can become 20 yards in a blink. That gives May the support he lacked in the opener, opens play-action windows, and reduces the stress of 3rd and longs. If stubbornness wins out, the risk is wasting a premium resource while insisting on a back who looks short on confidence and burst. What we saw against the Raiders is the blueprint of what cannot happen again. The offensive line failed to create daylight, Stevenson didn't respond, and the coordinator simply pulled the plug on the ground game. In a team that bets on discipline and clock control, that's nearly a sentence. From here on out, either Henderson becomes central to the equation, or we risk a predictable, overly vulnerable offense. The talent is there. The question is whether we'll have the courage to unleash it before it's too late. And if that tension wasn't enough for you, wait until you see what happened on the other side of the ball, because that's where a $100 million investment started to redefine this franchise's defensive identity. If anything lit up the stadium in Foxborough in Week 1, it was the immediate impact of a reinforcement who arrived carrying the weight of the biggest contract in team history. Milton Williams didn't come cheap. 4 years, $104 million, and plenty of fans wondered whether he'd be worth every cent. It took one game to see the defense gained a new pillar, someone who changes the way opponents approach every snap. Against the Raiders, Williams played nearly 80% of the defensive snaps, far above his usage in Philadelphia, and still kept his motor and presence on every play. The most impressive part was his versatility. He occupied different gaps, aligned to stuff the run and to pressure the quarterback, and managed to influence both. He finished with 2 quarterback hits, but the box score doesn't capture the disruption he caused. His push helped Harold Landry pile up 2.5 sacks, proof that even without star numbers on paper, Williams transforms the game around him. That's exactly what the front office wanted. A player who not only produces but raises the level of everyone beside him. His post-game words only reinforced a mentality that fits the Patriots culture. He talked about a chip on his shoulder, proving every day he belongs, silencing talk that he's undersized for the role. That hunger is fuel for a locker room that needs leaders in the post-Belichick era. If he showed in the Super Bowl with the Eagles that he can be disruptive on the biggest stage, in New England the stage is bigger still. No longer rotational, he's a headliner. For the fan base, seeing a record contract start to justify itself is a relief. How many splash signings have stumbled out of the gate? This feels different. Williams looks motivated, comfortable, and ready to take on responsibility. The expectation now is to become a constant presence, someone who forces opposing game plans to adjust and creates room for younger guys like Christian Barmore to learn alongside a proven veteran. It's an identity shift. A defense that struggled to impose its will now has an interior engine that sets the tone. Sure, it's only week 1, and he admitted he left plays on the field, but instead of concern, that sounds like a promise. If he looked like this at nearly 80% usage, imagine once the chemistry peaks. The near future points to an aggressive defense driven from the inside out, and that's exactly the energy the Patriots need to support a developing offense. Now the question is simple. Will Williams carry this pace week after week and cement himself as the face of New England's new-look defense? If you put it all together, the picture is clear. A dynamic returner can shorten the field. A hometown lineman's return gives the rookie stability. The Henderson plan has to leave the whiteboard, and Milton Williams sparked the new defensive identity. That's how you flip games, margins, details, attitude. Now it's about keeping standards high, tweaking the playbook, and turning promise into results. The question is simple. Do you believe this team has already found the path, or is there still a missing piece to unlock everything? Drop your thoughts in the comments, share with a fellow fan, and subscribe to come back tomorrow.